What's up, friends? Nice to see you again. It is the Lincoln Lawyer here, and it is December 26th today, day after Christmas. I am broadcasting from Broward County. Hope your holiday went well. It's kind of chilly here, but overall better than the rest of the country. So looking forward to a nice New Year's, and I hope this year has been swell and profitable for you. So today our topic is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be ICO scams. ICO relates to cryptocurrency, obviously. So this is a major topic of interest to me. A lot of my videos are based on crypto. So I do practice crypto law, and I'm going into some crypto issues that people should be aware of, considering the current insane run-up, the bull market that we've experienced in the past few months. And I hope some or most of you have partaken in this bull market. It may not be too late, but it's getting there pretty soon. So I can definitely say I'm a happy man. I've taken full advantage of the current trend, so can't complain. But the other major issue is when there's money being made, then all the rats scurry out from under the rocks. So you need to understand how this works. Crypto is absolutely rife with scammers and shysters and bullshit artists of all kinds. I mean, it's pretty much no different than regular securities market. So you need to understand this. I review a lot of crypto business startup ventures, ICO, new tokens, new coins, write a lot of opinions, etc. I think I've addressed this in some of my other videos. But basically, the main lesson to gain from this particular video would be that you need to hire somebody who knows what they're doing, who's familiar with the space, who's familiar with business issues and crypto issues on the other hand. Because this is a complex topic, okay? Most people have no idea what the technology is and also don't understand the business model of any particular venture. So therefore you need somebody who will be able to understand the white paper, the business model, the issuance, the creation, the business use of the token, whether it actually has any potential. So basically your best bet is to just pay and hire somebody before you put money in, okay? Because I've seen this all the time. People lose a lot of money in crypto, and therefore, you know, there's a lesson to be learned from other people's mistakes. Just shell the money out, all right? Just shell the $500,000 to review, do the diligence on, you know, the issuer, and so then you can sleep much safer. But right now, I'll tell you up front that 99.9% of ventures that I look at are bullshit. Alright, I'm back. Unfortunately, my mic battery has gone kaput, so I had to mildly charge it, and I'm back. You gotta keep checking it so it doesn't freaking die again, but it probably will. So whatever, let's see if I can finish this thing. Alright, so as I was saying, 99.9% of crypto ventures are a scam. I'm gonna go through a few things to look for and consider before investing. But again, hire somebody who knows what they're doing. That's your best bet. Okay, so number one, legal compliance. You have to check legal compliance of the venture. I don't care how good it is. I don't care how brilliant it is, how much of a use case it has, the potential to make billions, trillions, okay, whatever. It's perfect code. 500 engineers working on it, 20 PhDs. I don't give a shit. All right, if it's not legally compliant, then chances are high that it will be shut down at some point by whatever jurisdiction it's being issued in, okay, whether it's Asia or Europe or US. So in the US, if there are any US investors, then it needs to comply with US securities laws. And I'm talking about any US investors offshore or in the US, it doesn't matter. If they're US investors, then the venture is subject to US securities law, which means it's subject to the SEC oversight, and the SEC can audit, inquire into, investigate, open an investigation, and terminate, issue penalties. Okay, they have broad powers. So most of the time they don't have the money to investigate every little scammy bullshit venture out there, but at some point they will get to most of them. Okay, so they're very diligent, and I've worked with them before. You know, they're pretty reasonable, nice people, and they're not particularly out to get anyone who is not a scammer. Now, if you're a scammer, they are out to get you. Okay, but if you are making good faith attempts to comply with the law, then they are reasonable. They will allow you some leeway in effectuating compliance throughout, you know, at a later point, even if you were not fully compliant to begin with. Okay, so having said that, compliance with U.S. securities law, as I've mentioned numerous times before, requires sale of securities under Reg D to only accredited investors. Okay, so accredited investors, 200K earnings or $1 million in the bank, that's an accredited investor. Under Reg A, it's broader, it's harder to get, you need audit, SEC approves it, so Reg D and Reg A, that's most of the issuances in the US. Okay, most of them are going to be Reg D. Okay, so next, Reg D, you got to file Form D with SEC, you got to file with each state where you have investors, blue sky laws, pay the fee, whatever. Now, how do you determine whether legal compliance is essential? Okay, whether you are required to comply with Reg D and only seek accredited investors and comply with the various securities laws. So generally, that is done by looking at the actual token, the coin that is being issued. If it's a coin, it's going to be a currency. Currencies are not governed by the SEC. It's not a security. It's going to be governed by the CFTC, Commodities Futures Trading Commission. It's a commodity. Okay, so I'm talking about tokens. What is a token? A token is a hybrid of a currency and a utility. Now, it can have a utility or it can have only an investment value, so that is where a legal opinion comes in. You have to see if a lawyer has reviewed the white paper, the functionality, the use case of the actual crypto being issued, whether it's a token or a multi-token, whatever it is that's being issued, and has determined in a legal opinion that it is indeed either a utility token or security token. Security token is obviously a security, all right? It's being issued for the purpose of creating profit for an investor through the effort of the issuer or whatever group is operating the platform. Passive investment and reliance on the issuer to create that return on investment. Now, a utility token is going to be powering the platform. It's going to be burning up. It's not purchased for the purpose of investment. It's going to be used up and burned up by the user's use of the platform. Whatever it does, whatever that token is meant to do on the platform, whether it's buy videos, buy pictures, effectuate an exchange of property, exchange of funds, whatever that token does, it is not purchased with the intent to obtain a return on investment. That would be utility token, but of course it's a multi-page opinion that needs to be done by an attorney who understands, you know, the crypto space, and so that would help determine legal compliance. If it's determined the token is a security, you need to go through Reg D, Reg A, whatever. If it's not a security, then you should be pretty safe. However, if at any time the SEC comes back and says, well, shit, sorry, we think you got a security over here, you're fucked. I mean, you got to terminate that and kick out all of your non-accredited investors, and you got to go through Reg D or Reg A. I mean, then you can possibly keep, if you get approved for Reg A, which I don't know about any crypto ventures that have been approved for Reg A, so you probably need to go through Reg D, and then you have to kick out all your non-accredited investors, start over. All right, that's the simple path to it. All right, number 2. This is the project management team. You got to go through these people, all right? You got to verify that they are real, that they are credible. Because I've seen it multiple times, okay, that fake people will be used, invented, Asian random names, PhD, blah, 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 PhD. You don't know these people are real. They have no public profile. There's nothing verifying their existence. They just put them in there, put a biography in, boom, that's it. That's the project team. So if you can't find any background information on these people online, LinkedIn, whatever, anywhere online, in a university, any kind of business, that's a major red flag, okay? So furthermore, anything public should mention this particular project, okay? Because very frequently, people who are very credible, very knowledgeable, and have extensive expertise in the space, engineers, programmers, coders, whatever, their names will be used without permission and put into the project team white paper. This frequently happens, very common. So their public profile, public resume, whatever, needs to mention this particular project to verify that they are in fact working on it. And if you still have concerns, you can feel free to reach out to them. They should do that. They should confirm. Obviously, it's not a hard thing to do, okay? So it's extremely important to verify the team. The entire success of any project relies on a complete team. Next item to carefully look at. That is going to be the terms of sale, terms of use, the privacy policy. All right, extremely important stuff. Now, obviously, if it's a security, there's going to be extensive disclosures. All right, all risks, forward-looking risks, any kind of risks should be mentioned in there. You should familiarize yourself with that. You should be familiar with that, and that's just pretty obvious. You have to review the private placement memorandum. That's going to go through all the risks. How the timeline of the issuance, the project, etc., how it's going to evolve, or the plan for the issuance, etc. Now, if it's a utility token, they don't have to do all that, and they can go through a website and sell it basically directly to the customer, to the user. And you have to, of course, carefully review these particular documents: terms of use, terms of sale, privacy policy, how they're going to use your private information. Will there be KYC? Are they going to verify identity of all the purchasers? Which is definitely something I recommend to issuers to do. Okay, so no anonymous stuff, all right? You still have to comply with the Bank Secrecy Act. It's very serious. Could have severe consequences if it's discovered that you are knowingly and unknowingly assisting with money laundering. Pretty important. Now, you have to make sure to pay attention to all the disclosures, such as the timing of the sale, any discounts. The sooner you buy, the more you get. So you get a discount, 50%, 40%, then it decreases, generally speaking, as the sale progresses. The exchange rate. Now, what tokens they accept? Do they accept only Bitcoin? Do they accept fiat? Fiat is more risky because, they may be subject to additional regulations for fiat. So do they accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc., any kind of tiny little coin? What is the exchange rate? When is the exchange rate fixed? Okay, so all that stuff is extremely important to pay attention to, obviously, and you'd be surprised how many people do not. Okay. Now, obviously, you need to understand that if they provide little to no disclosures as far as where your information is going, your personal information, how it's going to be conducted, the timing of the exchange, the price of the token, then obviously that's going to be a red flag because they probably have no legal counsel. If they can't afford legal counsel, then they're probably not legally compliant. So this is just something you need to be aware of. All right, they need to have a professional team. They should list a CPA. They should list counsel. And they should, ideally, have some kind of custodian. They're not that expensive, a professional custodian. If it's a major project, they should have a custodian. Now, the final item to pay attention to, extremely important and kind of obvious, this is the business aspect of a project, of a venture, okay? So, obviously, a lot of these ventures are created and promulgated by programmers, by coders, by computer geeks, okay? They're not familiar with business, okay? They do not have the business people, the experienced MBAs, the finance guys who are able to assist and push this project into a money-making venture, something that is profitable and produces return on investment to investors. That is a major problem, okay? So you need to make sure that there are enough business persons involved in the project to be able to push it from the programming platform, the beta alpha stage, into an actual business, to create an actual business from it that generates revenue for investors. All right, so you need to make sure you understand the use case for the token, okay? Checking my battery here. So the use case for the token, very important. Obviously, what is the competition? What is the demand? Is there a need that this particular crypto fills? How will invested funds be used? Extremely important. There should be a little circle, and that should tell you where the funds are going to be going. How much is the team going to be compensated from the fundraising? That's something important. Marketing, legal, all that stuff should be disclosed. Accounting, okay, project development, all that stuff should be disclosed. Now, what is the timeline for the project? Every project needs to have a timeline plan going on. How are they going to make sure that they comply with the plan? Plans to list on exchanges, extremely important, okay? Exchanges create liquidity, very important, and they allow exit at a market price, okay, very important. So you need to make sure they have some kind of plan to affiliate with exchanges, strategic partnerships with any other crypto venture that is able to assist the business in generating revenue, generating income, and creating liquidity for the tokens, increasing the user base. Extremely important to look at, okay? So again, if you're not familiar with all these particular items that I've mentioned, if you haven't done this before, if you haven't reviewed a venture, a new startup, a crypto startup, don't risk it. Don't dump your money into it, okay? So be forewarned, be forearmed, okay? I hope this has been at least mildly educational, and I wish you the best in crypto profits. I hope you have done well this year, and all the best. Happy New Year.